Hello, my friends, and welcome back. Thank you very much for being with me again today. I got about 5 topics from Ukraine, from Poland, from Russia, from United States of America. So let's start with the first one. It has to do with Modi, the Prime Minister of India's visit to Kiev. And he told Zelensky that he has to negotiate with Putin. People thought that Modi would throw Putin under the bus. The Americans celebrated his visit. They signed about 4 pieces of agreements with culture, agriculture, but nothing about defense and anything else. They got a beautiful embrace, and then Modi told him, "You have to talk to Putin." And everybody was like, yes, we're going to discuss that little development. Second one, I'm going to show you how the Russians solve things their way. Third one, and that is about that prison rescue operation. Some people, idiots, took hostages in a prison and in Russia, and the Russians solved the problem, kind of like the same way they solved on 2 other occasions. One, it was the one with that theater, if you remember, hostage taking operation, and the other one was in that school. Unfortunately, a lot of people died, but this is the way Russians solve problems. Now, that's the second topic. The third topic is the United States of America is preparing the baboon's little nerve that they have in their melon, that the United States will actively fight in the Middle East for your interests. And they just use a kinetic strike in Syria to kill a terrorist over there. And I'm going to go over the article coming from Fox News, showing you how media portrays things that we cannot verify. And all that should be trusted, everything they say. And it's very strange that they have some details, the media has some details about this operation and who's who, what's what. It was like made up, like a script. But no, it's not. It's coming straight from the intelligence services. The other one, we have a reporter, and I'm going to disclose to you who that reporter is, talks about Donald Trump and Robert F. Kennedy as being 2 very transactional people. And I'm going to show you who this Haberman is. It's always important in someone's, career to go back in time and check that person's early childhood, or, wherever that person comes from, that person's education, the location of the institutions where they, graduated, and then the jobs that they had. It's very important because you can trace and make a pattern and kind of wait and say, okay, this is my conclusion on this study. And then wait. And then you wait and see how that person acts or whatever that person says in certain circumstances. And you say, okay. And you say, well, this is self-fulfilling prophecy. No, you made a study. This is the conclusion. And right now you wait for more ammunition, confirmation, more confirmation. So I'm going to show you this Haberman, who says that Robert F. Kennedy and Trump are 2 very transactional people. Who is Haberman? Like Kosman. All right. Then we're going to find out who the new Polish ambassador to Ukraine is. Obviously, he's a former military man, because it seems like these guys are in charge of us, together with the intelligence services. And I'm going to show you who this guy is, and I'm going to point out a thing that I know, and if you go into certain kind of education and you read certain things and you rub shoulders and elbows with people, you're going to realize people educated abroad and then coming back in their country, we're going to discuss that later. So these are the topics for this video. Let's start with the first one, which is from Ukrainska Pravda, where are my glasses? Right here. Indian Prime Minister tells Zelensky that he will have to negotiate with Putin. And here, this is like, see how much empathy he have? Hey, ladies, do you see? How much empathy? He's very hurt, but he's also an actor. Remember that one. And this guy's over here. And you got a Jew, you got an Indian, and you got a, I don't know what she is, but these are the actors in this picture. All right. Now, who's this guy? This guy is the head of the presidential office. So like a chief of staff, kind of like a secretary. He's always around. Do you know who that is in your country? Do you know who that is in the United States of America? No, you don't. I guarantee you don't. And if you do, you're very informed. Very, very, very informed. More informed than I am. Why? Because these guys do not show up. These guys are somewhere in an office. You don't hear about them. And somehow Mr. Yermak, that's right over there, the fat fuck, is always there. With this, you see, full of empathy right here. They're visiting, you know, the deaths caused by the Russians in Kiev and all that. And that's awful, but this guy brings each and every leader like to a theme park to, that's how I call it, mool or squeeze empathy, and then they immediately say, got you. You pay. It's your fault too. You're part of that. The problem, if you helped us, then this would not have happened. This is the garbage that occurs since the death and then resurrection of our Savior Jesus Christ. The shame-tripping thing. All right, Germany knows it very well. Next one. As just from Reuters, in Kiev, Indian Prime Minister urges Zelensky to sit down for talks with Russia. Here is with Russia, and here is with Putin. That's why I picked them both. It's just a little Russia and Putin. Narendra Modi, Prime Minister of India, has told Volodymyr Zelensky, President of Ukraine, I like that, he's not the Ukrainian president anymore, how he met with Russian ruler, president for you, Vladimir Putin, a month ago and tried to convince him to stop the war. You can't. It's like someone will say, well, why don't you give up some of your Indian territory to, let's say, Pakistan? Or, they have the problem in Kashmir. How about you give Kashmir? No? Or Kashmir is already there. Which one? I mean, just let it be. Let it be. All right, my friends. Modi at a meeting with Zelensky, with double E-Y, in the city of Kiev, the video of which was published on social media of the Ukrainian president. And I'm quote, last month, when I visited Russia, I told Putin very clearly that the problems cannot be solved on the battlefield. Correct. That's why they tried before February 2022 to discuss with the guys in the West. They wanted to have a document signed. Ukraine will be neutral and not your NATO base. And they say no. So yeah, he tried, but hey, it was unprovoked. The tough Russian response, or not response, aggression, attack, because they didn't react, they acted, because they're in imperialistic power. You see, all this needs to be said because these guys try to push this narrative, and we know it by heart. That's why I'm showing you the other side of the reality. And this is an interpretation what they try to push on us by obviously lying by omission. The only way of solving problems is through dialogue and diplomacy. I'm not saying the only way. That's not the only way to solving problems. All right, because if someone attacks you with a knife, a crazy guy, you're going to defend yourself physically. You can't say, hey, hold up, boy, let's talk. No, it's not going to be that. So, well, Narendra Modi, I understand what you're saying in this circumstance. I agree with you. And we should move in this direction, wasting no time. Both sides will have to sit down together and look for ways to overcome this crisis. Modi also briefly described another meeting with Putin he had 2 years ago in Uzbekistan. I told Putin, looking him straight right in the eyes in front of the press, that now is not the era of war, Modi said. Well, I understand, but let's say I'm right here and someone beats my child. And I say, stop beating my child. And the guy keeps beating my child. And I say, if you beat my child one more time, I'm going to fuck you up. I mean, the negotiations, or try to talk to other people. Hey, police, stop this guy. And when that happens, I'm going to fuck that guy up. Why? He beats my child. And then you come, or Modi comes and says, Emil, this era is not an era for war or for beating. Well, he was kind of like beating my child, you know what I mean? So I think he didn't understand before February 2022, that stop. But hey, he kept doing. So what am I supposed to do? You have like a rabies infested dog attacking you. What are you gonna do? Hey, dog. Hey, you're gonna defend yourself. Let's put it mildly. So that's with that. Modi showed what I expected him to show. Some people said, oh, he went to Kiev. He just threw Putin under the bus. No, he didn't. No, he didn't, because Modi is a smart guy and it seems like he's got principles. All right? And it's a problem for the guys without principles, because they want selective values and selective principles. That is, you don't apply the same principle here as here. Why? Because here is our boy and over there is not our boy. So, All right, so let's go to the next topic, where we're going to discuss how the Russians solve certain issues. Here it is. Russia Today, 23rd of August 2024. Russian National Guard secures prison and rescues hostages. All of the terrorists were neutralized. You know what that is? During the storming of the correctional facility in Volgograd. Security forces have successfully stormed the Volgograd prison, where several inmates had attacked prison officers and taken hostages earlier on Friday. The Russian National Guard has confirmed all of the terrorists involved have reportedly been neutralized. According to the War Gonzo, Jesus Christ. Gonzo was my favorite Muppets show personage anyway, just, Gonzo. Gonzo and how they call the guy with the drummer. What was the crazy guy's, the caveman? It was not, the drummer. Anyway, Telegram channel. One of the hostage takers was wearing a purported suicide belt which failed to detonate. The identities of the attackers have been confirmed according to media reports citing court records. One of the four was a convicted murderer, while the other three were serving time for drug trafficking charges. All were reportedly natives of Uzbekistan and Tajikistan. Snipers neutralized from special forces of the Russian National Guard in the Volgograd region neutralized four prisoners who had taken prison workers hostage with 4 precise shots, the law enforcement agency said in a statement. All right, so everything is clear, and they solved the problem Russian way. They negotiated prior to that, and they sent some pink-haired, nailed, we can mention other things or so on, over there to discuss and use kindness. Discuss, be kind. Please be kind, all right? Because that's the way, that's the attitude of a child, of an infantile. Why? Because that's the way we are, unfortunately. That's the way we are. But hey, we are his best creation, we're told. All right. I understand. Now let's see how the Americans are preparing the ground for strikes in the Middle East at will. Why? Because we are fighting terrorism still. In other people's countries, without those countries and legitimate governments' approval or invitation. That is Syria. Well, let's look over this garbage article coming from Fox News, because these guys are going to give us information like it was a script, so detailed. U.S. kinetic strike, that means straight, no victims, no civilians, no children, no women, nothing. Just this evil guy, they are telling us. And I believe them. Why? Because they are the government. Pentagon is the government, part of the government. So they wouldn't lie to us, would they? No. So, U.S. kinetic strikes takes out senior leader of terrorist group aligned with Al-Qaeda in the independent sovereign country of Syria. Syria has the same right for independence and security and sovereignty as Ukraine has, but somehow double standard or selective values make us go over there and do whatever we want, but we tell the Russians to get out of Ukraine. Very just, because human nature maybe? I think these guys used to be different, were they? All right, let's go back to this article. U.S. Central Command, They announced Friday that forces in Syria have successfully killed terrorist group senior leader PPP. According to these guys, CENTCOM, he was killed in a targeting kinetic strike in Syria. Oh my God, like smart bombs and all that. This guy was, now they tell us who this guy was a council member, a senior leader of these guys, which is ideologically aligned with the guys that were before Al-Qaeda, was before, how do you call that, the Mujahideens in Afghanistan, and then they became ISIS, right? So Mujahideens Afghanistan, then Al-Qaeda, and then ISIS. And who gives this guys weapons? They don't have factories like Pentagon has. In Syria, he was responsible for overseeing terrorist operations, they tell us, for the group in the Middle Eastern nation. Right. Oh, this CENTCOM remains committed to enduring defeat terrorists, and the CENTCOM area of responsibility assigned by us who threaten the United States. So those guys over there threaten us. Why? Because we have troops illegally deployed in Syria, and I don't know what else. But you're going to find out the last paragraph or sentence is the most important sentence, and that you have to remain in your brain with. That's the macro view on this situation. But hey, continue with this. According to CENTCOM, this guy and organizations like it stands against the West, and her allies. Why? Why not, let's say, Japan? Or let's say, I don't know, Vietnam. Why not Zimbabwe? Because you are involved in that area, including the United States of America. No, the United States first. Is Romania part of the West? Now it is. Okay, Defense Ministry, this guy, announced earlier in the month that U.S. military forces would reposition across the Middle East in support of ally Israel. All right? So now this is what you needed to know, all of it. This is just preparation for further kinetic strikes in Syria, maybe Lebanon, maybe Iran, because those guys support terrorists, and we fight them in the name of the Western world, and in the meantime we help an ally. Isn't that sweet? Man, we're so good. Give me the medal right here, please. Oh, thank you very much. All right, let's move on. Next one. We have this piece of work from The Hill. So The Hill. Haberman says Robert F. Kennedy Jr. backing Trump makes sense. That's how she frames it. Two transactional people. That's it. And who is Haberman? We're going to find out. Maggie McGill, senior political correspondent. She's senior political correspondent. Maggie Haberman said independent candidate Kennedy Jr. dropped out of the race, and endorsing former President Trump makes sense because they are two very transactional people. Haberman joined CNN Wolf Blitzer, another one, on Friday to discuss the news of Kennedy. You know who's making our news? Who's shaping our opinions? Haberman and Wolf Blitzer. So let's see who Miss Haberman is. Correct? Correct. Well, let's see. Ram-pam-pam, let's go here to Miss Ryder, Maggie. Now, I could have told you who she is just by looking at her. Her smile and her beak and all that. All right? There she is. All right? Like Madeleine Albright, look-alike, when younger. So, for me, that was enough. But for you, because we don't want to generalize or, call things that are not over there, let's find out. Well, all this thing doesn't tell us about that. But if you look deeper, you find out that she's the daughter of this guy. And this guy is a longtime journalist for New York Times. And her mother is Nancy Haberman, born Spies. Okay, media communications executive at Rubinstein. You know who Rubinstein is? But let's go first to Clyde. Don't get ahead of our skis yet. And we're gonna find out who this guy is. Her father was raised in an Orthodox Jewish family and attended the yeshiva through 8th grade. Excellent, excellent. All right. Now, let's go to see who the other guy, Rubinstein thing is. Nothing wrong with that, but are these facts? We're not going to make any connections, are we? No, we're not. We're not. So, where is that? Haberman and Rubinstein Associates. Okay, let's see who Rubinstein is. Okay. Rubinstein, American lawyer, public religion, early life. Rubinstein grew in a Jewish American household. Nothing wrong with that. I'm just telling you, my friends. An immigrant from Russia, because they immigrated from Russia, and so on. Got that? So this person, remember, this person is associated, right, with her mom. Her father is this guy who opened doors for her. And he is what she is. And she, plus this piece of garbage right here, Wolf Blitzer, they make our news. Remember, there was one so-called debate. These are not debates, just so you know, my American friends. These are not debates, presidential debates. Those are not debates. The moderators both were Blitzer-Steins and Haberman-Steins. And then you have Blitzer. It's just a coincidence. I want to see how many Romanians you see over there. I tell you, you see this? This is the sign of zero. 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 Why? I guess we're not good at it. But you can't say that because that would be, how do you call it? You wouldn't be inclusive and you would not believe in we're all good in the same way. We're all the same. All right? But somehow when you have too many of these guys in a position, there must be discrimination. But when you have too many people on a certain kind of different area, they're just good at it. And you are not. What? What about the other one? Okay. So I think you got my point. Everything I said here is true. You don't like it? You're not just. Because an honest man or an honest woman should not be upset of truth, of the facts. So if someone said, Emil, you are fat. Yeah, I'm fat. All right. So what do you want to do? Am I upset about it? Then I should change my condition of fatness. I don't change my condition, then I live with it. So what? Am I expecting you not to notice that and say it? Am I in control of you? I'm your master and you're my slave? No. So I can get upset how much I want. But I will run to the government, to different ways, and make the government make it illegal or ban you for saying reality. Because I don't like you pointing out my condition that I don't like either. You see how things are? But somehow we are free people. Or I go to work and I tell my employer that the other employee said this reality about me that I don't like. And he's going to be reprimanded or maybe fired. Talked to, that's for sure. You like that? But hey, we are all free and equal. This is such a garbage. All right, Rubinstein, let's move to the last one and see who is the newly appointed Polish ambassador to Ukraine. Can you guess? Well, it's not that kind. It's not Rubinstein, but let's see. New voice. Poland appoints new ambassador to Ukraine. Piotr Lukasiewicz, Peter, will begin his duties as Poland's ambassador to Ukraine, Polish Foreign Minister spokesperson announced on August 24. As reported by a Polish broadcaster, Wronski also noted that several new Polish ambassadors have started their duties in various countries over the past few days. They try to throw us off with this. We don't care about them. We care about Lukasiewicz. He's a political scientist, diplomat, and colonel in the reserves of the Polish armed forces. Got that? He serves as Poland's ambassador to Afghanistan. So he's just another colonel. Just happens. Like the president of Czech Republic, and not only. These guys don't trust us anymore. Why? They trust people who know how to follow orders and don't discuss orders. All right, so let's see who this guy is. Piotr, let's see, how are you doing? Piotr Lukasiewicz. All right, born in 74. That makes him 50. He's a colonel, retired at 50. All right, and what caught my attention here is this. So Lukasiewicz graduated from Military University of Technology. Military, that's his life. Faculty of Cybernetics. He's been studying also at the National Defense University of Warsaw, military again, and in Washington, D.C. Got that? All right. And we find out that where is that? What? He was in 2009, he became plenipotentiary of the Ministry of National Defense for the Polish military contingent in Afghanistan on January 31st, 2012. He ended his military career and retired. In 2012, that would make him what? 38 or so? At 38, he just ended his military career as a colonel at 38. So this is the Polish ambassador. My point is this. It's very important to look at people's past, because you're going to find over there what their allegiances might be, what people he loves, what blood they have, and then allegiance to his family or tribe. And then from there, you're going to find out where was he educated. And once he was educated overseas, and it's ABC what I tell you right now. It's not like, oh my God, tell you something genius. No, you should know this. If you're over 30 right now and you don't know this, speed up, start working. And and then you are either sent, or you're smart enough to receive a, let's say, a scholarship somewhere in a Western university, usually in the United States of America, and then you come back and the doors are all open for you because you were educated in the United States of America. Like I right now, let's say I go back to Romania after I fulfill my assignment here in the United States of America, and over there in about 3 months, I will be appointed as a secretary of, I don't know, some defense something. Not the guy in charge, like the second one with others. And then after about 2 years, I will take that position. And after about 3 years maybe, I will be running for presidency or whatever they make me be. Or maybe they take me and put me to NATO somewhere, but they want me to take care of Romania. Do you think that because I have big balls and I'm, do you think that's why? No, because certain doors, my career was channeled. ABC, 1, 2, 3. I didn't tell you anything genius about this. This is a reality. And they know it. The intelligence services in any country study this and they are aware of it. So when I return, if I return to Romania and I'm not arrested, and I go over there, and if I shoot up like that, now you know. Now you know. Unless I return over there and things change differently than like that. Thank you very much for being with me again today. Stay strong, stay smart, look for the truth, and be just.